Looks correct so far. Okay. I think we're live. Welcome, everybody. If anybody can confirm we're live. Lisa, does it look like we're live? Awesome. Hey, you're probably wondering, who is this group? Who are they? We're going to explain that in just a minute. As people come on in, just want to give people a chance to get on in here and say hello and all that kind of stuff. So, yep. Hey, you are in the right place. This is the Voice of E-commerce, and we're going to get going here in just a second. All right. Okay. Well, hey, greetings. This is Kirk Johnson filling in for Ann Sieg today. Welcome to the Voice of E-commerce, the broadcasting arm of the E-commerce Business School. Our goal is to display to you, the public, that we're real people. We got some real people here who have a go-giving community that supports and empowers each other. And we're just really thrilled to have you here. And our goal is to inspire and help and all that to take your business to the next level with this edition of the Voice of E-commerce. And we got some special guests with you today. So let me frame it up for you a little bit. All of these folks were in Bloomington, Minnesota last weekend at a live event. Yes, the E-commerce Business School. I would say the bulk of the training is virtual and online. We have the typical static videos, incredible, fabulous back office. In fact, we have the architect of that with us here today. And we do a lot of live stuff just like this. We're meeting with our students over Zoom and over webinars and over things like that. But the ultimate experience is live face-to-face stuff. And some of our more premier and advanced students, called the E-commerce Master's Program and E-commerce Enterprise students, were in Bloomington with Ann and Brian and some of the others and the staff just this last weekend for a 2-day webinar. And rather than myself or Ann, and by the way, Ann is off with that's her hometown, by the way, being with some relatives. That's where she's at. She'll be back next week. So rather than us tell you how great it was, because it was great, I thought we would let those that came tell you about it themselves. And so I mentioned the architect, and while I introduce her, Lisa, I will look for guests and see if anybody else has found their way in. But this is Lisa Celine. She is one of our teammates. She's the architect of the back office training program. She lives in Minneapolis and is really our right-hand gal that connects all the dots together, the go-to gal. Lisa, we're really not big on titles, but you're like super boss or something. I don't know. But anyway, I don't hear you. I think you're muted. I hope maybe it's just you or me.
I'm muted. There
okay, so this is Lisa Celine. You were there last weekend. You want to talk a little bit about the school and the experience there, Lisa?
Yeah, you bet. It was a wonderful weekend with our e-commerce funnel mastery, talking all about funnels and helping people get their Shopify sites all set up and learning copy and Facebook ads. We just had a ton of fun. We had some new presenters there, new members of our faculty. Sandy Sandler's one of them. She's here. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. Haven't made a bow yet, but I will. Sandy does bow Dabra. So we had a lot of experts there. It was really fun. I love our members. When people say they come to our events, it's like being part of family, because you know, the only way they get their name tag is if they get a hug from me. So we just have a great time, and it was really fun. And we also did a fun day on the boat on Friday, the day before. So we went out on Lake Minnetonka and took a little cruise and enjoyed some time and camaraderie together. So lots of fun. Glad to be here. And that's it. We've got Brian Cummings on the board now too.
And I'll go to Brian next. Hey, if you need to leave early, you can type in EMP in the box there. I'll explain that a little bit more, but we have some of our e-commerce master's program students and e-commerce enterprise students with us here today, also along with some staff and trainers. And so if you're wondering what this is all about, you want to find out more about those level programs, you can type in EMP in the chat box there. I'll mention more about that at the end. The architect now of the weekend itself, and actually of all of our training programs, is our director of coaching and training, Brian Cummings. He's just done a fabulous job. People love him. And so, Brian, thanks for all that you do. I heard such great thing. I was only there for part of the weekend. Tell us about the weekend and your role and your takeaway and all that kind of stuff.
It was a great weekend. This is the fourth e-commerce funnel mastery that we've done since about a year ago when we did the first one. Each one has improved. The level of the participants, and I mean no offense to those that were at previous e-commerce funnel masteries, but the level of the participants keeps going up too. So training is definitely up. I mean, Sandy Sandler here in the middle of our Hollywood Squares, Sandy Sandler presented at this event. That's new for us to have this social media training that she brought. It was so exciting. I don't know what else to say, but it was, I enjoyed the event. It's kind of fun being here right now because I get to see these same faces. You know, we come together as community and it's an intense weekend. There's a lot of content, a lot of working on each other's businesses with each other. And then you leave the event, you go back and you go home kind of alone. So here we are again in community. I'm loving this.
Awesome. Well, Brian, I really appreciate how you orchestrate everything to make it come out to be just a great production, if you will, and everybody's engaged. And you're right, we do have one of our newest faculty members, Sandy Sandler, who is famous in and of her own right, almost as famous as her puppy Vivian. And so she was with us and really bringing that expertise of how to build an audience and all that. So Sandy, I'm sorry I missed your presentation, but I'm glad I got to see you on the way in. And it was really your first formal time teaching with us here at the e-commerce business. We are so blessed to have you. Tell us about the weekend from your perspective.
I was just blown away by the quality of the members and the people who were there and learning, and they're absolute lust for education and growing their business, and the work that they've put into their print-on-demand stores is amazing. So it was just an honor to be able to teach and share. And as you know, I'm really looking forward to working with everybody in the future. So it's going to be really fun.
And Sandy, you did a Facebook Live right from Minnesota. That's actually, I believe it's public facing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, where people can go and watch that?
It's public, and my part of it was sideways. Thank goodness Anne's part wasn't.
Oh, the recording, yeah. So anyway, right. And so anyway, you can go to that, you can watch that. And so so thank you so much for the expertise that you're bringing to the table for our whole community and school here, Sandy. It's great to have you. And so one of our students that, as I'm looking around here, has been around maybe a little bit longer than the other, and that is Christy. And this wasn't her first EFM. And Christy, it's just been, hey, Jacqueline, it's just been such a joy working with Christy. One of the highlights for me was when in the last EFM, e-commerce funnel mastery weekend, you brought Mike and we got to meet him, and we just love working with family and family units and all that. But tell us about your experience this weekend, Christy.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. It was such a fantastic weekend. I have actually been at all 4 of the EFM trainings, and I have gotten better as I've gone along. And it's funny how, and I said this at the event, that I finally reached an event where I was actually kind of at the point where I needed all of this information and was ready to actually implement it. So many times I've been at events that it just kind of, the information just went over my head. I wasn't ready for it yet. But it was really fantastic. It was just completely relevant to exactly what I needed right now. Everything from creating ads to the social media to creating systems and designs. And I mean, it just really could not have been better for me. So I thank everybody. Of course, all the trainers are always excellent. Materials excellent. And I just couldn't be further along without you guys' help. So I really appreciate everything. Thank you.
Christy, on behalf of Ann Sieg, who's not here today, in case you just joined us, she is on vacation for a couple days here, and I'm filling in, and we're doing a recap from the last weekend, the e-commerce funnel mastery. And we're firm believers here that it's more than just static training or one-off training that will help you as an entrepreneur achieve your goals. And so, Christy, just real quick, you've been back now 4 times. In terms of the community and the empowerment, that aspect of which we believe is a vital ingredient for the entrepreneurial journey, you keep coming back.
I do.
Why?
And every time it's a different experience. I've never gone where I haven't taken away just so much more powerful information. I mean, there's never been a time where I just say, well, that was all same information. It sunk in a little bit better. There's always a portion of review, of course, but there's always new information. It's crazy. And I just always think, wow, I thought I was doing good, and now there's all this new stuff. And plus, all of the people. For me, the community, getting together with everyone and just talking to them about what they're doing. It's just so impactful. You learn so much from every single person you talk to. I tried to make my way around to almost everybody. And it was just exciting, and there's always new people coming into the group, and it's just exciting to meet them and see where they're at and help them along their journey. So it's just fun. I'll keep coming back.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy.
Yeah,
and I want someone else who's been around a while is Kathleen. In fact, Kathleen was on your side of the fence, if you will, even though we really don't have sides. We're also blended together. But Kathleen was a follower and a student of Ann for, I think, a few years, knowing her for that way. And more recently has come on staff as a copywriter for us here at the e-commerce business school. And you were there this weekend, Kathleen, excuse me. Tell us a little bit about your weekend and your following Ann and our community here and what it's meant for you and your life and business.
Sure. Yes, I did come this weekend. I wasn't needed to be there as a trainer, but when I read the content, frankly, I just didn't want to miss the content. It just was, everything that was being offered. And I do sort of straddle the fence with one foot working for the e-commerce business school, but I'm also trying to build and develop a Shopify store. So I've really, I'm kind of on both sides, and the training did not disappoint in any shape and never has. I have never loved being at a live event, whether I've been there as a trainer or as a learner. There's always, even when you go as a trainer, there's so many other terrific, high quality trainers. So the learning is incessant and always appropriate. I love how things are customized to each member and where they are in their journey. This weekend, I looked at it, I think we tend sometimes to think that things are harder than they are. And, listening to Dr. Josie talking about creating systems and outsourcing and getting help and watching the step-by-step guidance from Sandy and Brian and Cody, everything was so step-by-step. And it was like, things are more doable sometimes than we convince ourselves they are. We can get kind of, trapped into the, oh my God, this is, too much stuff. But I love the fact that our trainings and our programs we all have access to replays, and we have those manuals and we have the videos and the programs, so that even though there's lots to learn, we can constantly reinforce by review and going back and find, we have our community groups. There's like no end to where we can turn for help and support and guidance. And that's, I suppose, yes, I've been with Ann for, I don't know, since 2010 or so. And it's, I'm just it's a highlight. It's really a highlight as part of my life. And certainly the live events are a highlight experience that I always look forward to.
Thank you, Kathleen. Something that you said, I'm going to pop back to you, Sandy, just for a second. I'm going to ask a follow-up question. You've made it in a sense. You've arrived. You have thousands, tens of thousands of people following you, liking you, buying your product all over the earth, on and on. And you got your own tribe, your training, and then we connected, meaning the e-commerce business school, Brian Cummings and Ann and you decided to, travel with this pack some too. Why? You didn't need to do that.
It was the level. I've wanted to teach for a really long time, but essentially it was the level of integrity that I found with everyone at e-commerce business school. I feel and felt as if you all really want to teach. You're not just one and done. We want to bring people into the community, teach them, help them grow so that they succeed, because their success is your success. And I've been to a million events, and I've gone to so many different courses and communities. And I just feel that this community is far and above anything else that I've experienced, because the goal is to teach. The goal is really to help growth of the entire community. And that's what's important to me. I want to be involved with a community that wants to help their members grow and succeed.
Awesome. It's Jacqueline. Jacqueline, you'll be next, and you can, after you're done, go ahead and move. But Jacqueline's dog was just reading your hat. That's all that was happening. Look, tip your head down so people could read your hat. Yeah, see, the dog saw the screen and said, I got a woof. Yeah. Anyway, Jacqueline, you're newer to our community, and it wasn't your first event. I think it was your second event. And so we would love your impressions of the e-commerce business school, and I guess journeying with this very serious minded people, our e-commerce master's program and e-commerce enterprise students and faculty and staff and all that. Jacqueline, go ahead, share your thoughts on
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was hanging on every word. This has been a life-changing experience for me, Coach Kurt, from the coaching calls to the interaction with the attendees, and especially, and some of my favorite moments from this recent training was Dave and the twirling camera. That was pretty exciting. And when Vivi walked up and was checking on her mama, that was pretty sweet. The classes in themselves were so chock full of information and tools, introducing us to tools that are available to us, and how to utilize those is just invaluable. Dr. Josie, when she introduced the emotional resonance, that was an eye-opener for me. There was so much that that Brian and Dr. Josie and Cody, of course, now I have a handle on the funnel process and the lifestyle, how to present yourself and your project or your product, But what I can say about this event, Coach Kurt, was the 5 minutes that I had with Sandy Sandler. The vision that was locked up inside of me absolutely exploded.
Yeah. Good to hear, Jacqueline. That's awesome.
Thank you, Jacqueline. That's really sweet. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Brian, just for a second, Jacqueline's mentioned 2 of your other trainers that you had with you and Sandy training that weekend. If you just want to briefly tell people who they were.
Well, she mentioned Cody, and that's Cody Neer. Cody is a certified Shopify expert and print-on-demand drop shipping expert. He's been in the e-commerce community for probably 7-8 years now. He currently he's down to, I think, 13 stores again, maybe it's 16 stores. He's $1 million seller with a number of $1 million stores. His way of looking at this is, I'm going to build a store and sell it for a huge profit. So he's building assets. And he's an amazing man to follow. He brings an incredible amount of strength and experience to our team. And Dr. Josie Shepard, she's been in the e-commerce business school community longer than I have. She's an incredible systems woman. She's been a good friend of mine. She's the one who introduced me to this community. She runs 3 or 4 businesses simultaneously, almost all on remote control, so to speak. One of them is a prep center for products that are going into Amazon's shipping and fulfillment centers. So that's a huge warehouse down in Southern California. She operates that from her home in Oregon. She has a team of people all over the world, and her passion is helping our members create team and structure for themselves so they can also scale their businesses. 2 really talented individuals.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. And if you got late or have to leave early and you want to know more about Ann Sieg, the Voice of E-commerce, E-commerce Business School, and the higher level mentoring that we're talking about today with some of our staff for students, you can just put EMP in the subject line. And there's actually a webinar a week from Thursday. I believe it's the 23rd of August. And you can find out more about that then. We'll remind you again at the end. But in the meantime, I'm going to go up to Bobby and hear your story of the weekend. Bobby is one of our newer students, I believe, to the e-commerce business school, perhaps following Ann longer than that. So Bobby, thanks for being on.
Well, no, thank you. Thank the e-commerce team for having me. It was a very productive weekend. The event was great. Very much appreciated the instructors sharing their expertise with us, and with me, it was very timely. I was only able to attend just over half the school, but what I took away from it was invaluable. One huge takeaway for me personally from the instruction was a part of the process I'm already implementing, but I was able to, and I am refining it or fine tuning it. In particular, I'm talking about this, I'm going to just hold it up here for a second. That's the use of the design request form. Up until a couple of days ago, I've never used one. I've submitted many designs to my online graphic designer, but once in a while, something's lost in this translation, so to speak, from what I'm visualizing and what's finally submitted and what I get back from as a finished product from the designer. So Josie Shepard detailed how to use the form, and she emphasized clarity and specificity. I think I said that right. Specificity. But anyway, she was emphasizing going from what's general to specific before conveying or communicating that to your designer. That one would like what as a design. So very good information for me. I'm already using it, and there's much more clear communication between my designer and I. So in the big picture, this has helped me be a more effective communicator with the designer and be organized in the manner that I go ahead and delve that out. So thanks, Josie. Thanks, Sandy, Cody, Brian, and anybody else I missed.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Bobby. All right, now we're going to go down to Candida, and I like the shirt that you're wearing. You went dark there for a minute here on the webinar. Were you off of solving a mystery or what? Anyway, Candida, thank you for coming. Give us your thoughts on the weekend.
Hi, guys. I had a great weekend. Friday was amazing out on Lake Minnetonka, and that was just great, building relationships with new people. I met a lot of new people on this trip, so that was exciting. Saturday and Sunday, they were both packed full of information. And so it'd be like, oh, I can use this tidbit. Oh, I can do this. And so I was immediately getting to work. Breaks, even during presentations, I was like, oh, I need to do this. And so I was just getting things done. Saturday night, we had the hot seat, so you guys call it, and everyone gave me feedback on certain things. When we were done, I went back to my room and I started creating new images, and I got ads out. I had a sale the next morning. I've had sales now consistently for the past few days. So yay, that's exciting. Mm-hmm. It was all great. The energy, the mindset, all of that comes up, it shifts, you come home like, you can do anything. And so I appreciate it. My energy level's up. I'm doing. I created a to-do list Sunday night, thanks to my travel delays. And boom, marked them off the list. So I think that all comes from this weekend, all of the information and all of their friendships. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you, Candida. Part of the equation and why we're here today is just to let people know more about the e-commerce business school, especially the upper level mentoring programs. And part of the mix of the ingredients that Ann has worked very hard on through the years is to build the community empowerment. In a sense, I hate to put it this way, but there's courses out there, but without the mix, we don't believe it's a full menu. So that aspect of Ann or e-commerce business school or the weekend, how important is that to you, to your learning progress and journey?
I think it's very important. It all goes together. Not only the information we get, but we have a community that we can share ideas with or get feedback, and seeing other people's perspective from someone who's not so involved in it. When we're doing it, it's all about our vision, but when other people, that helps tremendously. So I love having the community like that, or the coaches to go to and say, hey, I'm stuck here, or what's that app that I need to use to get me to that next level? And so you guys offer the community as well as the training. And not only that, but you guys are also approachable and available when we need help, and that's huge. We're not just left out floundering out here by ourselves.
Thank you, Candida. Well, I don't want to miss anybody, but last but not least is Lonnie. Lonnie's fairly new to our community, and he danced right in here. So Lonnie, tell us a little bit about your experience with e-commerce business school and the weekend. This last weekend, again, was the e-commerce funnel mastery for our higher level mentoring students.
Well, thanks, Coach. It was an incredible weekend, like everybody has shared. I've got a page of notes here in front of me, just trying to put it all together. Marketing in the online world is kind of that big elephant. It's huge. And for me, just the online stuff is intimidating enough. I'm just old enough where I missed kind of the easy way into all the social media and online media. So there seems to be this big learning curve for me, and it's been very intimidating. But finding e-commerce business school has kind of given me that ability to see it and understand it a little better and know that I can do it too, because of the help and the support that everybody is providing. Like Candida said, it's not just the trainers and coaches, which are incredible, but just a community of other people that are out there like me trying to do it too. And we give each other hope and encouragement and support. And it's not a competitive type environment. It's actually very family, very warm, very welcoming, and very encouraging. So that's been a big help for me in figuring out my way through this online e-commerce stuff that I've always been interested in, but it just seemed like something that was almost unapproachable. And like you said, there are other schools and people out there, willing to teach those who want to learn it. But there isn't anything like this organization. Ann's vision has brought together trainers and coaches and counselors, that are, they're just, there's a like-minded vision. And it's about our success as people, not simply crunching numbers. It's about how we grow ourselves into who we need to be to go where we want to go. And the gentleness and encouragement and support is just mind-boggling. It's wonderful. Add that on top of all of the specific details, the golden nuggets throughout the entire weekend that we had, knowing that marketing is this big, important animal out there and not having a clue how to approach it, and leaving this weekend with a specific action plan, things that I know I can do, having the trainers behind me believing in me as well, that helps. And just being able to come home and put these things into action, already getting to work, and having an understanding of it. One of the biggest things was when Cody was talking about how to retarget ads. When you get hits out there and you get activity, but nobody's buying, and how you can retarget those ads and approach that from a different level. And like all that information is there. I still have a lot to learn about that, but what an incredible process to hone in your your marketing dollars exactly where they're going to work. I mean, how remarkable is that? It's wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you, Lonnie. Well, hey, we're just at about the half-hour mark. I know we've gone longer. And if you've been writing in the panel there, I've been paying attention to our awesome guests here and haven't been filling in there. So I do apologize for any of that. Brian, if you have any last words, or if anybody else does, go ahead and feel free to interrupt me. I'm just going to kind of go into a close here. I want to thank Brian Cummings, our Director of Coaching and Training here at the E-Commerce Business School, for putting this weekend of the E-Commerce Funnel Mastery together for our higher level students. Now, higher level students are the E-Commerce Master's Program students and the E-Commerce Enterprise students. And if you want to know more about the E-Commerce Master's Program, a week from Thursday, we're just going to do an informational webinar about what that is all about. And you can type in right now EMP into the chat box there on Facebook, and we'll get you all set up, and that you'll get reminders and so on and so forth. So so again, Brian, thank you for pulling together a great staff. Thank you for everybody for having your time here, and Sandy and everybody else. So on behalf of Ann Sieg and all of us here at the E-Commerce Business School, thanks for listening. Hope we can help you on your journey more in the days ahead. Bye-bye, everybody.